NBT World, a vision of Thailand.
The micro SME itself, like I said, even though they are affected, right, but they are actually very resilient, right? And then the way that we build our business and partner with them when they are in difficult time, we don't go away from them. We don't just walk away and say, you get rejected, we don't give you loan anymore. No, we continue to do that. And we have done this during the COVID time. During the lockdown, right, actually our loan growth is much higher. And the risk is also increased much higher, but we don't step back on it. We continue to support them. And that actually, I think, has built a very strong relationship between the customers and Thai Credit.
Swadika, welcome to Thailand today. I'm Hani Cholapansanarula. Thank you very much for joining us. Today we'll be talking to Thai Credit Bank, known for its mission to serve the underserved. With a strong focus on inclusive finance, today we'll be taking a look at where the bank is heading to amidst this fast-changing financial landscape. And joining us today is Kun Roy Augustinus Gunara, CEO of Thai Credit Bank. Swadika, Kun Roy.
Swadika, Swadika.
Thank you very much for joining the show today. Now, the Thai Credit Bank is often recognized as a bank for the underserved economy. To begin, can you share with us this vision behind your strategy?
The vision for Thai Credit Bank, actually we look at the underserved segment, right, as really a big part of the Thai economies. And we see a lot of opportunity, but there is lack of product and services from the financials to these segments, right? So I think there's a lot of challenges and issues in the past, and that's why when Thai Credit entered into this segment as one of the smallest banks in the market, we believe that this is the best way for our bank to grow, right? So we see that the segment is underserved, and we believe that, right, rather than competing with the other banks, we choose to go into this segment and grow with this underserved segment. So that was the vision behind it. And to say it in short, that we actually believe that this segment is a very good opportunity for us.
So explain to us a bit more, how does this business model differ from the traditional banks in serving the underserved?
So actually coming from background of also banks and financial institutions, we understand that the conventional bank structure is actually not designed to serve the underserved segment, right? And I can explain there are many reasons for that. The easiest one though is the risk. Okay, the risk of the underserved segment is very high actually, much higher than consumer or SME in general. Right, and it is also very difficult to understand, right, because of the lack of data. Okay, so this is what we understand, and that's why when we enter into this segment, we created a new way of serving this segment, which is, again, to simplify it, is actually we try to be as close as possible to these customer groups and understand them, as versus being very distant and looking at only data. So we look at physical, we look at the behavior of the customers, right? We use a human capital to work on that, and then we put it together with the data that we collected over the years. So actually our success on this is not also only a few years, but it takes us more than 10 years to actually build into this segment.
So would you say that these are the innovations that you have introduced in order to make finance accessible to all, to the nano and micro SMEs?
Yes. I would say that actually there's quite a number of innovations that we introduced by building this business model. So yes, the first one was basically we tried to control the risk management. But then after that, there is another element of this innovation which I really like to share, because as we work closer with the customer, we understand the potential of this segment, which ultimately also reduce the risk. It's not only by just understanding the customer and then calculate the risk issues, reject the one who is not qualified, but actually we see that we should try to work together and be partner with the customer and then see what do they really need to succeed. Right? So that part actually is the financial knowledge. It's actually quite interesting that what we learn is that the customers actually have a very strong potential and they don't want to be a high-risk customer. High-risk definition, it means that you cannot pay the loan, right? They want to have ability to pay, right? But the fact that they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the understanding, and sometimes they have a very bad discipline. Being a good person, but you have no money, then you have no choice, right? So this is where we see that actually that knowledge, right, the educations for the customers to become literate on financials, on responsibilities, is a very important part in the underserved segment.
So let's highlight what is actually taking place on the ground. You've mentioned a few examples, but can you share some really successful cases or real-world impact that demonstrates this contribution to the underbanked or underserved?
Yes, of course. Let's say that we've entered into these micro segments or the self-employed, small merchants, small business owners for more than 10 years already, right? But the last 9 years, we actually built this educational program that basically start with a small test program, which we start growing from 100 customers to 1,000 customers, from 1,000 customers to 10,000 customers, and then now we see that this program we have already touched the life of the customers, about 280,000 customers of them. And it involves maybe about 700 of our employees, almost full-time, basically working on educating, creating a classroom, calling them to come, and all of this, we actually build it for free, right? And while we are learning and then helping them, we keep improving ourselves also. So this education program has been evolving, and it's becoming part of Thai Credit Bank. Right? So we provide this program and the customers actually learning. So back to your questions, right? What is the impact? So from the 280,000 and the discipline that we are doing is not only about the classroom, how to save money, how to control your business, manage during the downturn, right? We actually look at also that the impact, whether what we educate to them helps them. And we actually see that about 80% of the people who took the classes, they actually changed their financial behavior, which we are very, very surprised, and we're very happy that the effectiveness is very high, right? And maybe 60 or 70% of the people who took the classes, and we review them again 6 months, 1 year later, we meet them again. Right? And then this 60-70% of the customers actually change their behavior, and they say they start saving for the first time. So we thought that is excellent, that is wonderful, right? Because before you never have any money in your pocket, you always lose it.
And now you're saving as well.
And then now you start saving already, and this is just only one of the behavior changes that we are very, very happy to see. So of course, they improve in terms of their ability to pay, they improve the way they do the business, which is quite a normal thing, right? But it has an impact on their life as well because they start saving. We have many of these stories that we try to put into YouTube, right? And then now we have about, I think, 300,000 followers. So those followers actually look at these success stories. So we're not selling our product, we just focus on success stories. So the customers say that, after I take the lesson, I just understand that actually I buy a lottery every month, and spend a few thousand baht to buy lottery, for example, right? And then they said, for 1 year, actually I never win. And if you really calculate, for 1 year, your spend is 20,000 baht on this, right? And then some of them were like compulsively buying online, shopping online, and then just spend 100 baht, 200 baht, but they do it like 2-3 times a week. So if you calculate the saving that you do, so we try to make them understand by saying that, is these things that you buy, does that please you, or you just buy and then after that, take a look at all the things that you buy at home and then see whether this is useful or not.
So perhaps education is
yeah,
in fact
so all this
key.
is actually helps. Yeah, it does helps them. And especially in the difficult situation like this, so people then start to take the courses more and more, learn more, so it helps them. And I think we see this as part of the impact. That's not only on the business side, right? Mm-hmm. So we talked, so there's two innovation. One is that on the business, you try to manage the risk, you try to calculate, your analysis, vintage delinquencies and everything else. We do the best we can, and we think that we are very good at that. But on the second side, on the second part, is actually look at the humanity of it. Mm-hmm. Try to make them become a better person financially.
Imagine a land where every month brings a new celebration, a new adventure. Welcome to Thailand, where vibrant festivals and events await you across 55 provinces in all 5 regions. Indulge in the culinary delights of the amazing food festival, marvel at the illuminated artistry of Visit 5 regions, and immerse yourself in the cultural spectacle of the amazing Muay Thai experience. Each event is a gateway to the unique traditions and flavors of Thailand, offering unforgettable experiences that will leave you longing for more. Join us in Thailand, where every month is a celebration and every visit is a new story waiting to be told.
What is your assessment of the current economic climate?
Yeah.
We see, the political developments. We see the interest rates moving back and forth. So how has it affected you, your customers, and how are you adapting to this change that we see?
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest challenges, right, is that the bank is providing, right, a financial solution and services, which is basically like a loan and saving, right? And our success depends on the quality of the customers. So if the customers have difficulty with their business, then we are also directly impacted, right? So their ability to pay directly impact to the business. The economic directly impact to the growth of the business as well. In general, most of the small business owners understand that if the economy is not good, then borrowing more money for investment is not a very good idea, right? And they borrow money more for their basically survivals. And from the bank also, that if we provide a lending for their survival is riskier, right? So what we see in the last 5 years, I think the business expansion is not that strong, and many of the businesses are having lower income, right, because of the economics. And that basically have a negative impact for the bank. And I think all this, the market already understand that. But having said that, okay, even though the economic now is down, the bank actually continue to grow.
Yes.
Right. So as you see that, I think the first half of the year, and then July and August, right, the banking industry is actually shrinking. Right, and because, like I said, all the banking industries are feeling the problems in the economics, but Thai credit continue to grow, and in fact, I can comfortably say that the portfolio delinquency is even better than before COVID time. Mm-hmm. Right, so we see a big issue, but then 2025, our portfolio delinquency, our NPL performance actually has been very stable and improving. And we are still growing year on year. Our growth is about 12 to 15%. I think more than 12% the numbers. And every month we're still seeing ourselves growing. So I think this is the fact that, right, the micro SME itself, like I said, even though they are affected, right? But they're actually very resilient, right? And then the way that we build our business and partner with them when they are in difficult time, we don't go away from them. We don't just walk away and say you get rejected, we don't give you loan anymore. No, we continue to do that. And we have done this during the COVID time. During the lockdown, right? Actually, our loan growth is much higher. And the risk is also increased much higher, but we don't step back on it. We continue to support them. And that actually, I think, has built a very strong relationship between the customers and Thai Credit. That's why now we are stable. We don't want the customer to fail. Okay, so we continue to provide them with the loan.
So you have like
Right.
a strong relationship with your customers,
Right.
but despite the challenges that we
Yes.
see, what is driving growth? Because we saw first half of 2025,
Yeah.
Thai Credit showed like really strong performance, and your loan growth target is also aggressive looking forward. So what is driving growth, and what sectors are contributing? Because other banks are facing,
Yeah.
another story.
Yeah, we are not aggressive. So, so that's very important to understand. We used to grow by 25% per annum per year, which is like it's neck breaking to go fast like that. In the last 1 year, 2 years, our growth has been half of that. It's 12 to 15%.
Still double digit.
And still very, very strong, right? That's why we see the weakness, right? But the market still is very big, and the customers, right, are still surviving, right? And that's why we can continue to grow. And the fact that we are being small also, right, we can continue to take market share from basically the informal lenders, from all this, the other bank as well. So that still works. So far, right, and I think the situation may be stabilized a little bit as well. Now, economic, let's go back to the economic as what you mentioned. I'm trying to look at, for example, the tariff, right? We have this big tariff that's going on, and the big tariff creates a lot of, confusion in the market, right? And then some people, try to front loading, as you know, and then some people try to pull back, and then some business get affected directly. Micro SME in our business, actually less than 4% of our customers are in the export-import business. Right? They are more like serving all the local communities and small businesses, the small manufacturing, small developers. So we are not we're not directly impacted on that.
What about the high household debt or the spending power?
Yes. So the household debt, let's look at if you spend your money for consumptive purposes, right? Like for example, I borrow money using my credit card because I want to go on a vacations. In a normal time, you will be able to pay back within, let's say, 6 months or 1 year on whatever you're spending. And I think because now people who earn salary and spend the money on this kind of discretionary, like luxury items or traveling, I think now they will have difficulties to pay back. But 70-80% of our customers are actually all businesses, right? So they borrow the money because they try to survive their business. They use it for working capital. They use it for, try to improve their cash flow, right? And then many of the SME customers just want to carry cash in their business just in case if there is any shock, they have the excess cash to survive, right? So all that is actually a survival game. It's not a spending game. So even though the household debt, according to the self-employed, is also high, not only because of the consumers, our group is also high, but because the purpose of their borrowing is for productive purposes. That's why we see that they are actually not really declining or increasing risk. It's actually now slightly improving already. And slight improvement to me in this kind of situation is a good sign. It's a good sign. And I think the difference is that you spend for good purpose or you spend it for consumptive purposes.
Now, in this era of digital transformation, we know that the Bank of Thailand is in the phase of issuing licenses for the virtual banks.
Yes.
Do you see this as a threat, as an opportunity, or a catalyst for innovation?
Yeah, well, it will be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see, and I believe that the digital banking license, I think they will all come with new innovation, new models, which actually then encourage all the incumbent players, including us, right, to push ourselves harder, right, to become better also in serving the customer segment. So I think in that sense it's quite positive. We have to be sure, however, though, that we cannot fall behind them, right? We cannot fall behind, and then of course that if we fall behind, they do better than us, then they can take over our business, right? So in that sense, we have to wait and see. But at the same time today, right, we are also working on our digital transformations. We are in the process of actually migrating into full digital platform as well, right? Because we are already in this micro segment already. We are already in this underserved segment already. Number one is that we want to improve our platform from the old conventional one into a fully digital one. That will basically open new opportunities for us to become more productive, to reduce our cost of growing, right? Which then enable us to be even more competitive. Okay, so basically we prepare ourselves that if there are any new forces attacking our business, we are ready for it. It's like that, right? Second part, right? The new digital platform also will enable us to improve our product innovations, right? So we are working on that also. So one way is that we will be prepared in case players coming and attack our business. But second, we are also preparing to enter into new business segment. That's like that. And actually, we are doing this because we know that the market is going to be even more exciting, right? Even more players, right?
What about
even
your customers? Are they
good
ready?
Players.
Are they tech savvy enough?
Yeah, that is a threat, right? So we have to accept that that is a threat because actually we are hoping that the new players should be responsible, okay, not like, aggressively, because the customers, like I said, right, they don't have a very strong financial discipline. And when you offer them cash, people take it, right? But the problem is that in lending, it's very easy for you to lend money, but it's very difficult to collect it back. So if the customer in this case is offer borrowing, just like the problem of the household debt, right? Then your income is not growing, but your debt is growing. And then you influence the customer to say, hey, spend more money to buy, ticket to go to Japan instead, or to buy this new telephone, to buy a new car, give you a low interest rate to buy a car and all that. So all those discretionary and luxury spend, I think, very, very dangerous for our customers. So whether they are self-employed business customers of us, when they become over debt, of course it will have a negative impact to us. So that is a threat.
Now, you mentioned about product innovation and perhaps some partnerships to happen in the future. So let me ask you this question, because Thai Credit recently upgraded to full commercial bank status. So
yes.
how does this enhance your capabilities, directions going forward, in partnerships to be formed, in scaling, if that's going to happen, and regulations involved?
Yeah. Well, right now the Thai Credit Bank is still the smallest bank. And we were at the past, right, the last bank that has a retail banking license. So it's not a full commercial banking license. So we received our full commercial banking licenses recently. Then we are now equal with all the other banks, right? So why do we have to get this license? So obviously this is a long-term view for us, right? Now our bank is about 175 billion in size. And obviously in the next few years, we want to grow to 300 billion, to go to 500 billion, and eventually become maybe one of the top 10 and top 5. So the full banking license is purely long-term vision for us, right, as we are growing. So, so we need all this ability to offer new products, Forex, right, helping customers to do trade, international business and all that. So that's the purpose of the banking license that we have.
I see. Also, you mentioned about being environmentally friendly, about ESG and green finance integration.
Yeah.
Can you share what it looks like in practical terms when it comes to the smaller customers, micro SMEs?
Yeah. So the ESG, right, of course, there's actually three components in there, right, which is the environmental, social, and governance. And let's focus on the environmental and socials, right? So as a bank, right, we actually look at what kind of environmental impact that we can do for our customers, right? From the bank and the customers that we are serving. So environmentally, I think right now the buzzword is, like a climate change, right? How can we improve that? Can we support them with the lending for EV cars, right, or the solar panels or something like that? But actually, our bank is not making so much impact there yet, you see, not yet, because we are in the underserved segment, right? This underserved segment, we see that between the E and the S, right, we feel that as a bank, we have more impact, we have more fit to help the customer on the S side, on the social side. Because if you really look at it, right, the S means that actually we try to help the customer to get out of poverty. Poverty because some of our customers, sometimes they have no money at all for like a few days, right? This is a poverty. So if we say, hey, please don't use the plastic, they cannot do that, right? They cannot do that, right? Please use a solar panel, for example. They cannot do that. They cannot make that kind of investment. So I think for us, the priority will remain in the social part first. Basically, help them get out of poverty. Help them have sustainable businesses. That's what we want. And then on the E side, right, we have to follow the market and be prepared also. So we are creating an infrastructure where we start to look at, right, the customer side and assess our customers. For every business we sign a loan with them, we look at it, whether are you involved in any kind of toxic, ways, right? So we start mapping. We just start mapping on this. And I think actually so far right now it's quite stable also.
What do you see as the biggest opportunity for Thai credit in the next 2 to 3 years in this fast-moving financial world?
Yeah, so this is where we are now working very hard for, right? So the micro and the underserved segment, we only touch the surface, 170 billion of size, right, compared to the trillion of the underserved. So many of these customers are still relying on what we call the informal financials, products and services like that, right? So I think we will remain focused on this. We will stay on this segment and then try to create this inclusion, try to give this cash access, and at the same time improve their financial knowledge the best we can. And I think by doing that, we can grow, right? We can create a very good business, right? And then making a very good impact to the economy and to the society. So that's what we look at, medium and long term, right? Short, medium, long term, we want to do this. And the digital world is coming, right? And the cost of doing business is increasing, as you know that. I think now you start hearing also the banks start reducing costs. We have to see this as a fact of life. So the digital business for us is our highest priority as well today. So we try to build our digital business, right, which start with building new platform first and then go to the next step. So that's the vision.
Going forward.
All
right, Khun Roy, it was great to have you on the program. Thank you very much for sharing your insights with us and telling us how banking can empower communities while also delivering strong results. And that's it for today's program. We thank our viewers for joining and we hope to see you in the next episode of Thailand Today. And now from the both of us, bye-bye and สวัสดีค่ะ
Sawadee ka.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.